blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to According to Courtney. Is this your first time with us? I'm Courtney West. I'm a full spectrum doula, birth nerd, birth advocate, and everything kind of in between with nursing and all the other fun mom stuff. So today on our show, what we always do is we like to sip some tea and gain some knowledge. And today on According to Courtney, I am so excited to have this guest come in because doing birth work and just in life is a healing journey, and what that healing journey looks like for a lot of people. And also when it comes to African healing and what does that look like? And I'm here to have this guest kind of like get rid of some misconceptions and tell you what that healing journey can look like. So I want to invite Miss Tracy into the space.
Peace. Welcome.
Oh, I'm so thankful to have you in this space. Welcome to According to Courtney. I'm just so happy to have you here. Every guest, I ask the same three questions to kind of just ground everyone in the space. What's your name and the origin of your name? Where are you from and where are your people from? And what is the one thing you would want to leave in the space for the guest to remember about you today?
Okay, that's a lot of questions.
That
See if I can remember them all and take them one at a time.
a problem.
My name. First, let me say where my people are from, because I think that is even more important than how I embody my name, because I do embody my name. My people are originally from Georgia and Florida. Georgia, specifically on my father's side, and then he was born in Ohio because my grandfather was a take no mess. They're not about to tell me what I can do in this space kind of person. And so he moved to Florida and brought his entire family pretty much. Some of them did move back to Georgia, but they made a stronghold and a base in the Midwest in Ohio. And so that's where I did a little bit of my family visitation. And then on my mother's side, my mother is from Tampa, Florida, where I am currently residing. My Florida roots run deep. My grandmother's father's side, back as far as we know. And we know that there are not a lot of paperwork on the Seminole, but I've definitely seen him, and he definitely looked like indigenous. It was not even a question. He was married to a Savannah girl, and so that Gullah Geechee on both sides is very real for me and very much in my bloodline. And then my name is Tracy, spelled the original Celtic way, which is Tracy. And my dad was a little bit of an Anglophile. My maiden name is Malone, which is also very Celtic. And Tracy means warrior and strong and strength. It also means warlike, but I'm not going to take that in a negative way, because I think sometimes we have to be about the battle and be about rebellion, and I only do that when I'm called to.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. And then lastly, what is the one thing you want to leave for guests to remember about you and remember about what you talked about today?
Wisdom born of time, wisdom born of pain, wisdom born of deep soul excavation and acceptance of the journey.
Ooh. Oh, that is beautiful. I love that oh so much. So I love when I asked you this question, and I love the answers you gave me when I asked you, what is your title? What do you call yourself? And you give me all these beautiful answers. And I want to explore that. So, what's your title? What do you call yourself?
My title changes. And I was having this conversation with a young sister yesterday who is not a birth worker, but she's in the process of creating something for birth workers, a platform.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was consulting with her and talking to her about ways that she could further that work. And I was telling her, I have a basic biography, but the biography is big, vast. I've built it over 50, 45 some odd years. And so the titles change depending upon what work I'm doing and what I need to portray. But
Mm,
I would say I am a healer. That is the number one title that I would love to be known by and love to embody. And I am a teacher. The two are not, they're inextricable, they come together. Um, and there have been a couple of different ways that I have been called to heal and to teach. I have done culinary, I have taught in the public school system, I have taught in higher ed, and I was healing all three times. And then I began my journey as an herbalist, and then I was called to teach it. And my last incarnation, I believe, on this journey is birth work. I'm a doula, a full spectrum doula, and I do teach it. And so I feel like that's the dance I'm going to go out on, but it doesn't mean that the other ones are not going to always be in full effect.
oh, that is so powerful and deep. And I wanted you to share that because I feel like people forget that there's layers to what a title is. And it's been so long I've ever had someone answer me quite like that. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I
Can
love that.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. Can I add some other things that I was talking about? I think with one of my deep friends, I was talking about the mundane things that we are and do that we don't think of as titles, and how we call them as nouns, but they're actually also verbs, like
Mm,
mother, and the need to mother as a verb. Daughter. I have daughtered really hard in my life. And I think that that is a sacred position. And a lot of us are not raising, young women who can daughter, sonning, that kind of thing, husbanding.
mm.
I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a daughter, and I'm a sister. And I take those all very seriously.
Ooh.
I verb them. Friend,
I
I
love
friend,
that.
friend of
Yes, you friended hard. And I love those verbs because people
ours.
forget that because we say it in joking manner, especially with birth workers. And it's like, what are you doing? I'm mothering. What are you
Mhm,
doing? I'm mothered today. Not
mhm,
like I went to go see a client. No, I'm mothered today. I had to mother and I had to mother hard today. And when you talk to it in a verb, it helps you make that action of how to respond to a person. How are
mhm.
you really feeling? Okay, you've done that. How are you feeling internally? You can answer in a verb.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. So I want to ask you, so how did you become with all these beautiful transitioning titles? How did your journey start on this wellness path and this journey of healing?
When I talk to other people who have been on a similar journey and they go back, they always recount how even as a child they were odd, a little bit off center. Like, so I'm gonna go on record and say that I have always been that. Like as a child, I used to dream about scenarios and places that I know I hadn't been, but I could see it really vividly, and then I would be looking out of my eyes and knowing that my facade wasn't the facade that I was in. And I'll just really briefly say, I used to have a recurring dream about Germany.
Mm.
And I looked out of my eyes in the dream and I was looking at a tombstone and it had a name on it. And I was clear that it was my name, but it wasn't the name that I have now. And I looked in the mirror and I was a little white girl. And I was like, that's weird because I don't wish to be white. And then
Mm-hmm.
to make a long story short, years later, my mom's sister was stationed with her husband in Germany, in New Ulm near Stuttgart. And we went to visit, and I had the experience of walking through Munich and Stuttgart, and everything looked freaking familiar. And I picked up German real fast.
Mm.
That really has cemented my belief in past lives. I've had that experience again in Mexico, in Belize, in Scotland. So I feel like I'm just that person. I've been everywhere. But the journey started out of that sense of not being quite like everybody else and being in pain about it. I've
Mm.
always been a little empathic. I would feel very deeply like the booger boy. Nobody was the booger boy's friend. I will befriend you, booger boy. I won't let people bully you. And all the way through high school, I was that way. I've always had an affinity for children. I've always babysat. I've taught them. Um, and still, like in middle school, I was bullied. In high school, I was not bullied, but there'd be a little bit of, oh, we found out that she's weird and like kind of pushing me to.
Mm.
And I had a whole thing where I flunked out of college because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I went to Howard, and I had a lot of fun, but I didn't study.
I
And I,
understand that. I understand. I did that.
I didn't study, and I came home in shame and in disgrace. And my mother, who was the wisest, she's not on this plane, but she's still talking to me. Scorpio strong, gang with her. And she told me, she was like, you done wasted a whole lot of my money. And I'm
Mm.
mad about this. What you gonna do now? Because you need to figure yourself out. And she just never let me off the hook. And so I've tried a lot of things and I've gone into different professions, but at the base of them would always be her push and my dad's push, because my dad, they were together until death did them part, and it was a real love story. Um,
Mm.
they both pushed me. They both told me I was excellent. They told me I was brilliant, but I was always like trying to figure it out. Like it just would always be that the spirit would push me onto something else. But there was a thread that was like the weaving tie through all of it. And it would be that I was always giving and healing, and I was always learning to teach. Like it was never like I'm a know-it-all and I could tell you. It's like, oh, okay, that's interesting to learn. I'm a nerd. I'm going to gather. You want me to teach that? Really? Okay. And then I'd be put in positions where I've had to teach. So, I mean, in order to really ground down, we would be 3 sessions here
I love it. I love it. I love it. You
trying to
you
encapsulate it with some like very poignant moments.
I love that because you are such a teacher, and I met you through a project of teaching,
Mhm.
and brought of your knowledge, and you were just so interesting to me because I'm like, wow, because everything about you exudes teaching and like the love of teaching. And that is a gift because everyone cannot teach. A lot of people think they can teach, but
Mhm.
everyone doesn't have the gift of teaching. And one of the things that you brought up when I met you is that you were a hoodoo practitioner. And I found that fascinating because I know in a lot of people's healing journey, especially for Southern Black people, you hear what hoodoo is, and there's a lot of misconceptions about it, but not realizing there's a lot of things in your life that you grew up around that is very hoodoo. So I really would love for you to be express some knowledge about hoodoo and kind of dead some misconceptions.
I think the first misconception that a lot of us have is that it is a religion. It is a system. It is a system born from terror, horror, oppression, fear, and the need to ground ourselves, protect ourselves and each other, to feed our spirits in a way that the oppressive forces have tried to strip from us. It is a retention of our African and indigenous selves in this space and in the Americas. So that's the first thing I'm going to say about it. And I think Sinners was I'm still eating off that plate. Like that plate, so tasty and delicious and nourishing. And I hope that more people who have allowed the fear of religiosity to bind them, because I used to teach ELA. I'm an English teacher. Let's talk words and etymology, and words have power. Religiare from the Latin means to bind. Catholic means to make everyone the same. Protestantism is to protest against Catholicism, but all they did was bring you into a different level of religiosity, religiare. There should be, in my opinion only, people are free to disagree, no boundary, no obstruction between you and your divine self. Each and every one of us has come with a divine spark. The original text of the Bible does not even belong to the people who used it to whip us. We are the original creators of said Bible, and those stories are generalizable across the melanated world. So I say all that to say that they make us afraid, but you should have no fear. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, and Christ said, all this that I have done, so shall you do also, and more. So who wants to worship a religion that died 2,000 years ago and ain't no miracles and no magic and all that just happened in the Bible, but it's not you? We are the co-creators of our existence with the Most High. It lives within us. So that's what I'm prefacing it to say. Root work in and of itself is the knowledge of all materials, all of the things, the essence of everything that has been put down here by the Most High.
Yes.
And in order to wield this technology, you have to actually understand it. So when people say crystals are evil, God put the crystals on earth. So God put the evil here, and you got to understand it. You got to know what to do with it. If the herbs are here and all herbs are put here, and in the Old Testament, so much talk about wormwood, talk about hyssop, myrrh, frankincense, and how it was used. There's a reason it was gifted to the Christed one to edify. Myrrh in the ancient world healed a host of things, including leprosy. You wanted these things, and there's always been people who were prophets. The prophets had knowledge that the other people didn't have. So you're going to have people who get messages that maybe you don't get, and their job is to lead you. That's what they went to Deborah for. That's what they went to Samuel for. And they're using astrology, the stars, to predict when things are going to happen, including Christ's birth. So we need to get more in the knowledge. I feel like the questions, we get more questions, but the questions take you closer to source, as close as you're going to be in your alive life, right?
Right.
So there's that. And then people have done and continue to do great evil in the name of the church. Lots of people People go to church on Sunday and hate you, have a Jezebel spirit, an envious spirit, curse you with their mouth, their gossip, pass
Mhm.
judgment, and you think because you're sitting in the building that somehow you're safe because you say so?
Mm,
Does the inside reflect the outside?
that part.
And the temple is the church, it's the body. You will see people treat their bodies like trash, eat horribly, and then go to church, talk about the building. The building is this. This is the
Mhm.
building. Keep the building. Keep the earth. Be a good steward of the earth. I know so many Black Christians who are not good stewards of the earth. It's almost like slavery made us hate the land. So we want to get as far away from nature as we can get, because God forbid we should plow or grow or plant.
I
And
hear
that,
that so much,
like,
so much. It's like
come back to your,
it
yeah.
to grow something. Why would you grow something like that? We not slaves no more, and that's a quick response.
But are they slaves though? You're a slave
Mm,
to what they planted in your mind, which is the deepest slavery of all. You can chain my body, but if my spirit and my mind is free, you ain't got me. And if I can implant that in my children, that they're free, that arrogance, the level of assurity that my parents gave me, they were like, ain't nobody better than you, which doesn't mean that I'm going around like treating you like you're trash. I'm seeing the divinity in everybody and I'm never threatened because it's here. So
yes,
I can meet your divinity, and if our divinities don't coincide, I'll leave your divinity alone. And if your divinity and mine can work together, then we build. And that's how community starts. That's how we survive. We survived hexing slave masters. That's how we survived, because we couldn't fight them like this. You gonna
right.
lose, but you can get into powerful prayer. And when we cook, that's good hoodoo. When we hear
Mm,
our children, that's good hoodoo. When we make our friends loved and welcome, here's a hoodoo thing that a lot of people don't even think is hoodoo, and it's particularly endemic to the South. You can never come to my house, but that I do not open my stores and feed you.
yes,
That's good hoodoo.
yes. That was quintessential thing I grew up with. Are you hungry?
Mm-hmm.
Are you hungry? Let me feed you. You want something to drink? Are you feeling okay? Do you need some tea? And that was my grandma's thing. She was just, as soon as you hit the door, I got a pot of greens going, or you not what you need. Let me cook for you. And it would
Mm-hmm.
depend on how you walked in her house. If you were angry, if you were sad, if you were in pain, that would depend on what she would offer you. But it was always something to eat, even if it was a bowl of fruit.
Yep. Casting out of evil spirits is hoodoo.
Mm,
So baptism is in the Bible, but the water is everything for us. When we understand the water, we understand true purification. And we
mm,
can pray into the water. We can adulterate the water. There used to be a thing when people died, if you thought that it wasn't their time, especially if it was a child, you call their name because you call them their spirit back.
mm-hmm.
We invoke, we embody. This is hoodoo. It's at the basis. And the Church of God in Christ is the biggest hoodoo operation ever.
Please
Kajik,
give us some.
Kajik got the hardest hoodoos, and they're literally in the pantheon. You know how we talk about the granny midwives? They're
Right.
the pantheon of hoodoo healers. And they come out at Church of God in Christ. They Kajik.
I would love for you to like touch on that because I have said this and had this conversation. Like, no, I'm like, I'm telling you, you don't think about certain things of things that
Mhm.
have always been just so, and it's always particular. You can't deviate. It has to be done just so way. Why do you think that is? It just is. They're old. Okay. All right.
Okay. Oh, from who? Oh, from where?
Right. It's like you think it just grew up and happened. It's like, well, why Church of God in Christ? I'm like, well, that I don't know. So I will pass that on. I was like, I just know it's just a lot of them out of there.
A lot of them out there. Holiness Church, too. Some Pentecostals, they be working oils.
Oh
They be
yes.
doorposts with olive oil. What do you think that is?
Let me bless you with the oils. You sick?
Yes.
You good. You better
I lay
now.
I lay hands on my daughter every morning before she leave this house. I lay my hand on her head. She 19 and she comes to my room before work or when she's gonna be away for the weekend for a blessing. And I put my hand on her head and invoke the spirit that she be protected, that her ancestors watch over her. Because white folks revere their ancestors. That's why you got a statue in the square, they face on the money, and you worshiping that, but you scared of your own ancestors whose only reason for ever being on this earth was so you could get here. Their job is you. That's their job.
Thank you for giving that, because that's what people. It's very interesting for people like, oh my God, that's demon worship, and I've never understood that. So your grandma's a demon, like the person who loved you. So you telling me your mama has transitioned, went to heaven, but for you to revere her, she a demon? Explain it to me, because it's just like I always tell people, it's like your ancestors, the ones who loved you the most, who worked their life for you to be there for you. So who do you think? I think language is a big deal of how people think about it and how you hear it. It's like laying hands. It's nothing for your grandma to lay hands and pray over you. What do you think she's doing? Or just
the spirit.
Yes.
That's what she's doing.
Connecting for you. And just I love to have you here. I wanted to just have that opportunity because it's so rare. Which I want to ask you too, to have these conversations. People I notice are afraid of this topic. They're afraid to bring it up. Even when they're curious, it's like you'll look at someone and you'll look at them and they'll look at you. You'll be like, so you're looking for the secret language of,
how can I
ask you a question? And I can be honest and say I did that when we first met and talked. Us like, hey, can I book a meeting with you? I would like to talk to you, because you want to respect people's spaces and a lot of fears around it. So it's like, is it safe for me to ask you these questions? And you're like, girl, yes, we fine.
Because spirit will send people to me that want to know and need to know, and gives me the discernment, which a lot of us are not working off of these days because we scroll too much, because we are busy trying to get ahead and keep up with the Joneses. It's like the discernment is dwindling or lacking. Spirit sends people to me mostly who need what I have, or who can give something to me. A lot of times it's transactional. I'm not a top-down person at all. And so I usually will get to know in the first couple of meetings. Usually, if I'm really honest, I know right away, but I'll be trying to give people the benefit of that. Be like, oh, let me, I don't want to snap judge this person. Let me have some interaction. And then they do the thing that you knew that they was going to do. And then you're like, yeah, okay, you got to go.
I feel you. And because it's hard for people to understand, like, why you like that? So like what? I take you in, I feel you out. It's like, you're judging them. I said, no, I'm reading you. I'm reading you. I'm reading everything about you, your energy and everything. And I'll be like, oh, okay. All right. Okay.
We want to act like all judgment is bad. So my when I did go back to school and do the right thing, my primary degree was in my primary degree was in forensic psychology. So I'm forensic psychology with a minor in sociology and anthropology. Judgment is how we make sense of the world. Human beings have to judge, because that's how you know who's your friend, who's your enemy. Can I eat this? This will kill me. Like, who's in my tribe? Who's just neutral and who's definitely not in my tribe? Like, we act like that's not a real thing. It is a real thing. The problem comes, I think, when, as I said, like, I'll get my gut feeling. If it's really strong, I'm going to just go the other way. I'm not going to deal with you at all. But if it's neutral, or if it's like, let me feel this out, I'm going to give you time to prove yourself. I'm not just making snap horrible judgments about people that will at some point come down the road and harm them. Like, you just may not be my type of person. And if I have to be in the sphere with you, I'm going to act accordingly. I'm going to be professional, or I'm going to be non-committal, or whatever that is. But we all judge, like people, yeah, judgmental. Like, so are everybody else. Otherwise, you'd be dead because you wouldn't.
Why did you think does keep you alive? Because you have to be honest with yourself. Because, and I agree with you. Sometimes if I walk down this dark alley, it looks a little sketchy, but I'm not going to be judgmental and I'm going to do it anyway. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. My gut said, hell no. Hell no. We're not going there. We're not going. And I'm okay with that. I do give people, you have to really hit me a certain kind of way. And I'm like, all right, I don't know. But a lot of times I will give you space because I might be off. There might be, you said something to me and there's might be something more there, but is it ignorance? Is it lack of knowledge, or is it hate? I don't know yet. So let me figure you out first, and then I can know how to respond to you. Because if it's a lack of knowledge, that's not your fault. Okay, cool. I can work with that. But if it's a downright, oh, I see you now. Now I know how to move with you or not move with you, and keep it up.
And sometimes you're called to work with people, and this is this place where I have been really doing work with myself. Sometimes you're called to work with people that really don't mean you any good, or you know that it's not going to be harmonious, but you have to like play it out because of circumstances that are a little bit beyond you. And I've kind of learned how to be authentically myself and stand 10 toes down and not try to placate, because sometimes you feel that people don't like you, but you haven't done anything, and I'm just vibing off of the ill vibe that you're giving me. And everybody doesn't have to like you. It's really okay. And they're not always going to like your message or how you do things. So I've learned to just not take it personally and just authentically move on. Like, you don't have to be with that. Well, sometimes you do have to work. I had to work with a couple for like years, and I was just like, let me place my energetic boundaries so that they can't step over. We just meet here. This is where we meet. I'm gonna be pleasant and say hello. I don't got to do more than that,
Yes. I love that you brought that up. Let's dive into that, because people do not understand what energetic boundaries are and how it works. All they'll say is like, you give off this aura of. I'm like, So could you dive into that for people?
And so this is another really awesome point about hoodoo, because there are people who are praying and praying and praying, but that doesn't mean their prayer is powerful. I think that begging prayers are not powerful. You have to tell the universe what you need and what you need it for. And that's how we're manifesting what we need. People, I need a car. What do you just need it because you want a new car? Like, what are you needing it for? And so energetic boundaries come into play when you know who you are and know what you're here to do. So that's like the first level. And I will also say, if you have really powerful ancestral lines and you are like, have a relationship with them, that means like sometimes I just be talking to my mom and the answer to problems come because she was wise. And yes, it's her in my head, but it's also me invoking her in my head. Does that make sense?
Yes, because it's not just floating out here. It's just having that set conversation of what will my mother say in this situation? This is what's going on. And then you get the answers. Because I've done that of what will my grandmother say to me right now, and hear, hey, you need to move like this.
Yeah, that part. My dad, especially in work situations, a lot of my interpersonal relationship situations, my mom comes into play. My dad knew how to work. And I also, I have the blessing of coming from two known generations of both sets of grandparents. Like, I had them pretty much until my adult life. My father's father left when I was 14, and we had a very strong relationship. He was that root man. He knew how to cure. And my dad didn't really go to the doctor until he went to the military. That's how good that was, right? And my grandmother. So I knew them. They were married. So I'm coming from legacies, generation of people who pretty much stayed married.
Mm.
Um, and I know the names of the ones even before them. I didn't know them because, I was a child. So there's that energetic boundary. And then the actual work, the root work, there are things that I do personally to make sure that if you mean me ill, you're not really going to want to be near. I'm always vibing high on the frequency of scent.
Mm.
So I will scent myself before a day. It will uplift me, it will energize me, and it will set energetic boundaries. You're not going to want to come by if you smell me. And it's going to smell beautiful. Like, I've been in situations where, especially white people, they'd be like, oh my God, you smell amazing. Thank you. And if you're not for me, you won't come closer.
Right.
Um, but I do that. I start my morning because the word ritual is right in the middle of spiritual. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people got a Sunday ritual, but they don't got a daily ritual.
That
And that's
part.
voodoo. Voodoo says, have a daily ritual. It will strengthen your inside. So my daily ritual is to rock. It's rare that I'm gonna sleep past like 9:30 because I make my own hours now, and I used to have to get up in the wee hours in the morning. Sometimes I do, like this morning. I've been up since 5. But I set my day. I'm not gonna sleep past a certain time. When I rise, I hit the yoga mat and I do yoga. And there's people that be trying to get at me like 9 o'clock, 8:30, and I purposely will not answer because
Mm-hmm.
I need to do my ritual. And then I bath either in the tub, or if I'm showering, I may throw the scented water that I make up for each day because there's different intentions for different days. I do have a personal altar. I light that candle. And that's the altar to me, to vibe myself up, to hype me up, to get me ready for the day. And then I
Mm-hmm.
go down and I do the ancestral. I talk to them, I greet them, I say hello. And then I start to prepare my day, my tea. It's sacred to me to make breakfast. I do breakfast for my husband, but if he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there, I'd do me too. Um,
Right.
yeah, I just try to make sure I'm fed. That way I'm ready to meet whoever needs what they need.
Ooh, I love that. I feel like this is a great time to have a midpoint and to, sip some tea because we've been doing the things.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And hear our new blast artists and who we have going on. So I'm super excited to share today. Come on, Troy.
Yes, indeed. Great topics. Thank you for the information. And today, our Blast Artist Spotlight is Michael Soul, and this is called Toronto Lullaby. Let's check it out.
Sunny with a scene of shattered dreams. Money on top of me, slash it with my heels. Devil saw me dancing, sweating till sunrise. I just want the flame, bring the crown. Need you only time, sliding with my hips. Daddy loves the grind, climbing on my heels. Every penny mine, following my creed. The sun of my night, linger on the sheets. Easy to forget that I was better. She could never turn back in. But you know I get much of me. I'm sweet as down trees. Easy to forget that I was better. She could never turn back in. But you know I get much of me. I'm sweet as down trees. Drive me. Only you can heal the pain inside of me. Love adrenaline, mix it with your deep. He wants to see my secrets. Daddy wants to train. Show me a sunrise stuck in my dreams that I made up. Let me burn to dust. My lungs are melting in the smoking clouds. Who am I? Who am I?
Is this the fucking lullaby? And that was Michael Soul with Toronto Lullaby. And if you are an independent artist or a spoken word poet or upcoming comedian looking for some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But Blast is also looking for the fans. So if you're a fan of great music, you too can also go to blastmusic247.com, register as a unlimited fan, and have access to hundreds of independent music. Blast, we're constantly changing the industry, one artist at a time. All right, ladies, back to you.
Thanks, Troy. So if you guys are just meeting up with this, welcome to According to Courtney. We have had the amazing Tracy Person here, who is a healer, doula, educator, all these wonderful things. All it goes on and it just moves all in. And we've been talking about the study of hoodoo and the boundary sets with that. And that actually leads me to your next question. My next question is, how important do you feel that these traditions and these teachings are passed down to the next generation?
I did say my name means powerful and warrior, right?
Yes, yes.
I am a warrior for these traditions to live on.
Mhm.
The biggest enslavement that was ever done upon us was to make us afraid of the essence of who we are. I definitely, I do teach a hoodoo cohort that the program goes for 2 years. It's 1 year intensive and then 1 year where I'm kind of just around like a mama duck. And if you are like, hey, I'm trying to like do this shadow work and it's really difficult, you can call me or text me. Or you're like, hey, I'm just really trying to ground down on my job and protect my space so that I can serve the community that I'm serving, because I really only teach this to servants of community and practitioners of care. If you're not either of those, you're not going to want to work with me because that's all I do. That's all I'm about. And you're always going to see some dark force or entity kind of try to obstruct you and
Okay.
take you away from the community. So I teach people so that they can protect their space. I forgot the question.
No, I love it. Squirrel. No, the question was great. Is why are these practices so important to be passed on to the next generation?
For the community to survive, for us to remember who we are and not allow politics, like fiat money, scarcity and lack to get us off of track. Like we used to have Black Wall Street and Rosewood, and like these things existed because we understood who we were and we came together and coalesced around this work of preserving communities of color. And we were so busy after the 60s integrating that a lot of us forgot that we're also supposed to be ourselves and protect the core. So I have passed this down to my children. My children are very strong and resilient, and they've had their own journeys. It's not like, oh, your mother passed this down and now you don't have to deal with what you have to deal with.
Right.
They taught me that part of my journey was to sometimes watch them struggle and know that I couldn't necessarily do anything about it, you know?
I think that's the hardest part, I think, as a mother when you're teaching your children, period. It's like the idea of like you're trying to make it so they don't have to struggle, but you realize that if you don't let them struggle, you're not really helping them.
Yeah.
And what that really looks like. So I know with my oldest, she's getting ready to go into her senior year. We sat down and talked last night, and I was like, I want you to understand the legacy you have, and that your ancestors walk with you. You're never alone, and that not that I'm just proud of you, but your whole lineage is proud of who you are, and to speak that life into them, and to be doing it all her life. That this is what she knows because I listen to how she speaks to other people. She's like, I know I'm forever good because my ancestors walk with me, and I'll never be alone. And I'm just like, you listened. Good, I did something right. Thank you.
And we're not always gonna see it or be confident in it. I know my daughter went to school with a lot of white children. And she faced not outright opposition, because I've taught her to walk into every space confident about who she was. And so she's been a dancer since she was 2. And she was chosen to do some things, and people were kind of like, you just got here. Like, why are they giving it to you? And blah, blah, blah. And, she would come home and she would say, Mom, like, why am I getting all this hate? Like, I'm really just trying to do the best job that I could do. And I really kind of sat back and was like, if you could do it better. And, they didn't step up to the plate because they knew they couldn't do it. But they just kind of gave her a lot of gas for being the one that could do it. And she had spent a lot of time with my mom, and they're very much alike. They look alike. She looks so much like my mom to me. And I just saw that core of toughness in her, that there were times when I would say to her, well, you can handle it like this. And she would be like, I've already done that. Like, I know that. And that taught me, like, oh, like in certain situations, I might not offer advice. I might need to back off because she's got it. Like, I'll be like I said about year 2 with me in the hoodoo cohort.
Yes.
Like, let me back off and mother duck, because you know what you're doing. I can just ask you, instead of telling you that this is what you should do, I should say, so have you handled it? How have you handled it? Okay, great. And she has also faced that in her job life. She too has had a very early, I'm working with kids. I feel like it's kind of my family thing. Everybody, like, in some level teaches and they mentor, and that's just kind of what we do. And so when she was in pre-K, she was like 3, and she would be picking up the little infants. And I'll be like, ooh,
I love it.
Drop the infant and I can't replace it. Like, but she never did. And they always love her. They'd be looking at her with the goo eyes. And then when she was 11 during COVID, a friend of mine had a little sneaky Pete dance camp, because she's been a dancer since she was 2, and it was African dance camp. And so she was teaching like the 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds, the little 5 and 6-year-olds. And we went to, we were in Puerto Rico. I was speaking in Puerto Rico, and she's now a friend of mine, but she's an Ifa priestess who was giving a different presentation than me, and she brought her daughter with her, and her daughter was like, "That's my teacher," and she's just like hugging all over her, and I'm like, so she's inherited the legacy, and now she runs the day camp over at Tampa Performing Arts Center, and my husband also works there, and he said, I kind of peeked in the room, and all these little girls were surrounding her, and they were just like she was a goddess in the middle of this group, and they were just like, Mr. Raven, like,
that's so sweet.
So she's clearly embraced her destiny.
That's so beautiful, and I love that. Let me ask you, so when it comes to this work, how do you see that it pertains to birth workers, and how does this work assist them?
So the system of hoodoo, how does it work? Or
Well, the hoodoo as a part of it, But the healing journey itself as birth workers, how does this assist them?
So I am a folk herbalist. I studied under Jade Alejandro Mays. Shouting you out, Jade. Uh, who is a fabulous Greek and Italian woman who is really open and expansive and just very hands-on. And like me, she's a culinary herbalist mama. Like that's I have studied with other people and they are just as fabulous. I'm not going to take a moment to shout. No, I'm not. Because they were tangential. I'm going to shout out Jay because I actually did her program.
Okay.
Where it really coalesces for me is the whole full spectrum of herbalism in each trimester. Because I'm a mother you, and I'm gonna like the birthing is amazing and powerful, but I feel like herbalism brought me there. Had I not been an herbalist, I don't know that I would have been there.
Okay.
It came by accident, as so much of my life does. If I actually told you the one thing that I set out to do is the one thing that I only did for a little bit, and then everything else was like, you have to do this or you're gonna do this. I went to performing arts high school, and the one thing that I knew I wanted to do was perform. And I told people I wanted to be famous. Girl.
I understand. That was me.
I got close. I know a lot. I've met and known a lot of celebrities, and it's so weird how I meet them. And if I give you the list, I'm gonna tell you like 1 or 2 or 3, and you're gonna be like, what? And I always meet them under weird circumstances, as though the spirit is telling me there's a reason that you're not here, but we're gonna let you be close so that you can be satisfied.
I'll take it. I'm like, this is awesome.
I did work on the Cosby Show. I worked as a costume designer on the Devil Wears Prada low level, where they like throw stuff at you and they're like, now go pick this and dress this character and go hang up these clothes. And I'm gutted that Malcolm Jamal Warner has transcended. I'm gutted. He was the one person in the cast that I actually had an affiliation with. Like, I threw a party and he came.
That's so cool.
He at my party. Hey, y'all. He didn't stay very long. But we used to be butt cracking, like snort laughing up in the stands, and Bill would get mad and because we're rehearsing and we're like messing that up, right? So there's that. I worked with Chad Bozeman at the Schomburg in the Junior Scholars Program, and I was gutted about that too. I just can't believe that he's not here. And then over time, like there's been like Nile Rodgers and I from Chic had a very weird what's up nodding like relationship, because I was a club kid, like hard to the point where like, why you be in the club every night? And I was like, Daddy, you don't understand, like the music and the bass. And he was like, that's just dumb. I just revealed myself to you. You said it was dumb. But I used to see Nile Rodgers all the time, and he would always what's up me. Nipsey Russell always what's up me. Joffrey Holder, if you remember Cola Nut, Uncola Nut, 7-Up.
Okay.
I was doing a storytelling when storytelling comes to schools, like a retelling of our history into curriculum. And he was actually giving a dance intensive. So I was talking to the woman because I wanted to take a class and I wasn't signed up. And she's a family friend who actually had put this together because she was a district arts leader. And Joffrey Holder was sitting right next to her. So I'm talking to him and he's looking up at my face, and he reached out and he held my hand. And I was like, oh, Joffrey Holder. He's holding my hand. Why? But okay, I'll take it. And Vincent Price did the same thing. I was walking on my way to a club back in the 80s, and walked by. They were doing Whales of August. Betty Davis comes out, Lillian Gish comes out, and then Vincent Price comes out. And if you're like a Gen X kid, that's like your whole life
Mhm.
is every Vincent Price movie ever. And I
Oh,
and I said, Vincent Price, and he took my hand and he said, I was like, my God. So I've always just had these crazy, weird interactions. And I feel like that spirit just kind of talking to me, saying, yours is a different kind of what's the word I want to use? Because I don't want to say notoriety. It's a different kind of fame.
yeah. It's
Like
like,
you, yeah, you thought you wanted
yeah.
this, but we'll give you this.
And it's still it's so meaningful, and that you remember, and it's like, oh, yes, I take it, I receive it. Thank you. It's all good. I love
Hmm.
that. I love that. So let me ask you, because I would love to have you again, because you have so much to give. But I see you have Southern Alchemy Wellness
Hmm.
LC, and I want to ask about that. What is that, and how are people able to find you? Because I know they're going to see a little bit of this and they're like, I want to talk to her. What can I learn from her? So what is it, and then how can we find you?
So, Southern Alchemy Wellness originally began as a brick and mortar space where did I spell it right? I spelled it wrong. There's an R missing. Shall I rewrite it?
You rewrite it, but tell us more. What is it? Tell us about it.
Um, Let me just make sure I did that right.
No, you were good. See, this
Yeah.
is why I love real people, real time. It's like, look, hold on, let me do this. So it was a brick and mortar at one period of time.
Yes, it was a brick and mortar, and it was a maker space and a place where people could come to learn herbalism. So I didn't initially come down here with the thought to either be a doula or to teach spirit. I am actually a 30-year practitioner of
Mm,
spirit. And I came in through the Commitment Mystery School. Um, and from there, became a practitioner of Ifa,
mhm,
and has I've never left my Christian base or my Christian roots. I did not see a need to. I kind of saw the place where they could coexist. I've also walked the indigenous or red road because I have friends who are indigenous. I got an Apache blood brother that you know initiated me on that path. And there's a Seminole elder that I've worked with as well. So that space kind of was supposed to be a place where Tampanians who wanted this could come and learn. And what I didn't know and understand, because I thought, because I've been coming down here all my life, like there was never a time I was not coming to Tampa. I
mhm,
felt as much a Tampa girl as I did a New York girl. When I was in New York, I was a Tampa girl. When I was in Tampa, I was a New York girl.
mhm.
Always out of place and out of step, right? What I didn't understand, and this is always part of the journey, like you have to stop and take stock and say, what is spirit really saying to me? People needed to actually learn. There were
Mhm.
a lot of people who, like you said, were scared. Oh, that's demonic. I'm not even going to go there. Or people who would be curious and come and enjoy doing things like culinary cookery, broth classes, my wellness sessions. I have medicine making wellness sessions for the fall because people start getting sick. And so I
Mhm.
try to get everybody ready with their little herbal apothecary and all the little things that they need to do to keep COVID at bay, because we don't need to be scared. We just need to be prepared.
Right.
And people would do one or two things. They would they would just like be scared and not come. And then some people came for the hoodoo part, but they misinterpret what it is and they want to do the petty level. Oh, could you this person is doing whatever, or they were coming to check me and see, can they mess with my boundaries? And I'm like, why would you even do that? You're on the
Yeah.
lowest. this. It's like going to church and people being at church just trying to see what you're wearing
Right.
to talk about you. Well,
Right.
there's that. People think that because people are in the spiritual community and we all black together, that means that we're all in the same place. And no, there's just people that come to test your boundaries to see what they could do. And then you look outside your door and you see some stuff that they laid out for you, and you're like, why would you do that? And I was told by the woman who trained me, she said, when people engage in that, the karma is going to come back their way, because you come here, like your reading, your life reading
Mhm.
is to help, to serve, to heal. So really, when people do that to me, what you're really doing is impeding the progress and support of the community. That's a lot to pay for. You thought it
Right.
was about me. It's not about me. It's not.
It's way
Um,
bigger.
it's
Way
way
bigger.
bigger. So you just made bad karma for yourself. And so I was getting a lot of both. And so I decided to dismantle the store in March of this year. It took some thinking. I had to go to Costa Rica and sit on the beach for that one,
Mhm.
and kind of ground down. And I was like, I need to not be here because there are people who are doing the wrong thing or getting the wrong impression. I will reach people more if I do this. And I told you the accidental way that herbalism led me into birth work. Um, and it's the hilarious story, and I don't want to tell it because it's too long. But but a white woman did say, "You will be my doula," and I was like, "I will," you know. So I think that was just an outgrowth of what I was supposed to be doing down here that I could not see, and the
Mhm.
birth work actually led me to way more amazing people like you. Just so many people that I would never have met, clients that I would have never gotten. And then back ending is the herbalism. It's almost like I thought the herbalism would be front and center, but the doula work is front and center, and the herbalism is kind of, oh, and now they want to learn herbs, or you want me to support you through herbs and cooking. So
Yes.
it's just become bigger than I could have imagined. It's better than I could have imagined. I feel like the store was blocking me. It was
Mm.
tethering me to some things that I couldn't see, I didn't need.
Oh, that's so powerful. And I love that you are available to teach. And as we gonna wrap here for me to go to your house to go learn and teach
Yes,
because
I teach
that
online
you,
too. I should say that.
huh?
I should say that I teach online so that people will know that they can have these classes even if they're not with me physically.
Absolutely. You are tangible to reach, and this knowledge is powerful. And as a birth worker, it is something beautiful to know that say, hey, I can offer this as well. This is something else I can assist you with, and that you can be that person. And also, you get to learn more about yourself
Yeah.
while learning these practices. And it is something beautiful to have an elder be able to teach this to you that you can pass on to your children. So all beautiful things. And so we have done our hour. Would love to have you come back and have a full another topic because you're just fun to have online. I enjoy it immensely. And so I thank you for your time
Thank
and
you.
everything.
This has
You're s-
been everything. It's awesome.
I'm so glad. So to our audience, thank you. Know that you're loved, you are seen and protected. And until next time, you guys take care. Bye, you guys.
Thank you.